go. The Indiana Fever front office and their nonsense, and it only took up until Game 5 for it all to begin as Caitlin Clark out for tonight's game. Back adjustments. Oh, they're just routine back adjustments. Not a big deal. Oh, it's going to be happening all season. It's not a big deal. It's no problem. It's just a
Game 5. That's all it took. The Indiana Fever opened their season with one of the most jarring 24-hour reversals the WNBA has seen this year. And the story isn't on the court. It's on the injury report. Or more accurately, what wasn't on it the night before.
If you were on the fence about buying tickets yesterday, well then this must have calmed your nerves. Status report for tomorrow, posted May 19th. Status report for tomorrow's game versus Portland, no injuries. Oh man, everybody's healthy for the first time in God knows how when. Monique Billings is healthy, Lexi Hole's healthy, Sophie's healthy, AB's healthy, Caitlin Clark's healthy, Maisha Hines-Allen, Justine Passau.
Read what that status report from May 19th actually said. No injuries, none. Every player listed as available, including Caitlin Clark. For a fan base that watched her grind through nagging issues all of last season, this was the green light. Book the travel, buy the ticket, arrange the childcare. The most marketable athlete in women's basketball was healthy and on the floor.
And then you fast forward 24 hours after you've already made your travel plans, after you've already bought your tickets, after you've already said, hey, can you watch the kids? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? After you made all the things that you needed to do, got all your accounts in order, the Indiana Fever drop this on you. Status update, Caitlin Clark back is out to
24 hours later, the bombshell. Caitlin Clark out. Back injury. The same back fans had been quietly asking about for weeks. The same back the front office had insisted was fine. Now, suddenly, serious enough to bench the franchise player. If you committed real money on the strength of Monday's report, you're now staring at a worthless ticket, a non-refundable hotel, and a babysitter you don't need anymore.
That back injury that none of the stooges that are credentialed media asked about during the preseason. We see her with a back brace against Liberty, no stooge asked. We see her with the back brace against the Wings, no stooge asked. We see her with the back brace against the Nigerian national team. Nobody that's credentialed decided to ask about the damn back brace. Oh, but it's a heating pad. No, it was a back brace.
Here's the detail that turns this from incompetence into something worse. The back brace. Go back and watch the preseason games. Indiana versus the New York Liberty. Visible back brace under the jersey. Indiana versus the Dallas Wings. Same brace. The exhibition against the Nigerian national team. Same brace, 3 different games, in plain view of every credentialed reporter in the building. Not one of them asked the obvious question. The team's official explanation was that it was a hitting pad. The footage says otherwise.
Just don't ask about the back. The Indiana Fever, before every press conference, before every time they talk to Stephanie White or the players during practice, handing out index cards, questions what you can ask and what you can't ask. Questions that are perfectly fine and questions that are off limits. The number one question that was off limits, the back. Don't ask about that.
The image of approved questions on index cards is hyperbole, probably. But the underlying dynamic is real, and it's well documented in modern professional sports. Beat reporters survive on access. Access means a working relationship with the head coach, the general manager, and the team president. Access is currency, and currency has a price. The price is not asking the question that gets you frozen out. So the back brace stays unaddressed. The injury report stays clean, and the fans, who don't have credentials and don't have a relationship to protect, find out the truth a day too late.
1. I advise everybody, don't spend a single dollar supporting this franchise. Don't spend a single dollar supporting this organization. They haven't earned it. They don't deserve it. If you're going to support, watch on TV if Caitlin Clark's playing. If you're going to support, watch on TV. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just saying I'd make the Indiana Fever earn these dollars. I'd make them get their ish together before they get $1 out of it.
This isn't the first time the Indiana Fever have run this playbook. Go back to last season. Game time decisions that quietly became late scratches. Vague day-to-day designations that stretched into multi-game absences. Probable tags slapped on a player who clearly wasn't going to dress. The pattern is documented, and it's not subtle. The consequence is always the same. Fans who planned their lives around seeing Caitlin Clark in person get burned, and the team collects the gate revenue either way. The franchise has effectively monetized the uncertainty around its own star. Every dollar that walks into Gainbridge Fieldhouse hoping to see 22 play is a dollar the Fever earned by being deliberately fuzzy about whether 22 would be there at all.
Y'all just can't ever tell the truth about injuries. The dark side, we've been telling the truth. The resistance, we've been telling the truth. The non-credentialed people, we've been telling the truth. The shills, they've been lying to you. The people that get paid to follow the team around all day, oh, I have a question. They've been lying to you. Slurp FC, they've been lying to you. The dark side, we've been trying to tell y'all. The resistance, we've been trying to let y'all know. This organization.
What that clip captures is the central frustration of the entire Caitlin Clark coverage ecosystem. There are independent voices, podcasters, YouTubers, fan analysts, the people he calls the dark side and the resistance, who have been raising flags about Clark's physical condition for weeks. Then there is the credentialed press corps. The writers and broadcasters who sit in those press conferences and write the recaps, who took the official line at face value and printed it. Both groups can't be right. And Tuesday's injury report just settled the argument. The brace was a back issue. The maintenance was an injury. The day-to-day language was hiding something real. The journalists who refused to push were performing public relations, not journalism. And the audience figured it out before they did.
So it's true that Stephanie White won't let Caitlin Clark play, so she placed her on injury report, whereas yesterday, injury report is none. Again, these scumbags could have put day-to-day here. These scumbags could have put game time decision. These scumbags could have put probable. Instead, these scumbags said no injuries, so you guys can spend your money. These scumbags said the injury report is empty, so the fans can spend their money because they're having problem selling tickets.
Look at the language available to the Fever front office on Monday night. Day-to-day, game time decision, probable, questionable. Each one of those tags would have told fans, hey, hold off before you commit $200 to a ticket. Each one would have signaled real risk. Instead, the team picked the cleanest, most aggressive option on the board. No injuries. A flat declaration that the entire roster was healthy. They chose that language while sitting on the knowledge that their star player had been in a brace for weeks. Head coach Stephanie White, in pregame and postgame availability, has consistently downplayed any physical concern. She is either being misled by her own training staff, which would be its own scandal, or she is participating in the misdirection. There is no third option that makes the people running this franchise look competent. That is why a hashtag like Fire the Front Office trends on a Tuesday in May.
This organization is inept. This organization is basement dwellers. They're the bottom of the bottom. You go outside on Wednesdays or Saturday mornings or whenever your garbage gets picked up, you see that garbage truck. It's not the garbage in the truck. This organization is the juice dripping out of the truck as it's driving. That's what the Indiana Fever is.
The metaphor is crude, but it lands because it captures something the polite version can't. There is a difference between an organization that makes mistakes and an organization whose default mode is opacity. The Fever could have built a model franchise around the biggest individual story in women's sports. They had every advantage available. Television ratings that have shattered the league's previous norms. Road games turning into sellouts in arenas that had never come close to capacity for WNBA basketball. Jersey sales that single-handedly reset league records. They had a chance to set the standard for how a modern professional sports franchise handles a transcendent star. Instead, they have produced 18 months of medical vagueness, media management theater, and front office dysfunction. The most generous read is that they are simply not good at this. The less generous read, which Tuesday's report makes increasingly hard to dismiss, is that the vagueness is the strategy. Sell the ticket on Monday, sell the news on Tuesday, pocket the difference.
You just lie to the fans repeatedly so they can spend their hard-earned money. People work. People have other things in their life going on that they could spend money on. So if they spent a $50 ticket yesterday to watch the Caitlin Clark, that $50 could have been spent elsewhere. If they spent $10 to get in the door to watch the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play, that $10 could have been spent elsewhere. If they spent $200 to get in the door and watch Caitlin Clark, that $200 could have been spent elsewhere. But this scumbag organization doesn't care about the fans. They only care about...
Here is what the next 48 hours are going to look like. The team will issue some version of an update. The language will be carefully constructed. Words like precaution, evaluation, and day-to-day will appear. There will be no specific diagnosis, no estimated return date, and no acknowledgement that the previous injury report was wrong. Stephanie White will field questions and decline to answer most of them, citing privacy or competitive considerations. The credentialed reporters in the room will accept those non-answers and move on to the next question. And the cycle resets. That is the playbook. We have watched it run before. The 2024 postseason was a masterclass in it. Clark was managed through a series of unexplained absences and reduced minutes. Each one was framed as load management or routine maintenance. Each one preceded an actual injury revelation days or weeks later. The lesson the front office should have taken from that experience is that the public eventually pieces it together. The lesson they actually took, judging by this week, is that they got away with it. The deeper problem is structural. The Indiana Fever are not built to handle this level of attention. The franchise spent 2 decades as an afterthought in a small-market WNBA city, and the institutional muscle memory of that era is still running the place. The communications operation is set up to manage a quiet rebuild, not to inform a national audience that has invested real money and real time into a single player. When the demands of the moment exceed the capacity of the organization defaults to silence. That is exactly what we are watching in real time. The fans understand this now. Look at the social media reaction to Tuesday's update. The replies are not confused. They are not asking for clarification. They are angry, and they are specific. They name the front office. They name the coach. They name the executives by title. The phrase "fire the front office" is not a vague venting of frustration. It is a targeted demand from a fan base that has read the timeline and reached a conclusion. That conclusion has implications well beyond Indianapolis. The Caitlin Clark effect is the single largest economic story in the WNBA right now. Television deals, expansion talks, the collective bargaining negotiations, every one of those conversations is happening in the context of what Clark has brought to the league. If the team responsible for showcasing her cannot be trusted to tell the truth about whether she will be on the floor on any given night, that affects every other franchise. It affects road game gates. It affects broadcast scheduling. It affects the credibility of the league's biggest selling point in its biggest growth year. The Fever have a choice to make, and they have to make it before this becomes the season's defining story instead of just its opening chapter. Option 1 is transparency. Tell the public exactly what is wrong with Caitlin Clark's back, when the injury was first identified, what the treatment plan is, what a realistic return timeline looks like. Take the short-term hit on ticket sales. Accept the criticism for the preseason misdirection. Reset the relationship with the audience by treating them like adults. Option 2 is to keep running the same playbook and watch the trust deficit compound game by game until the brand damage is permanent. The choice should be obvious. The fact that it is not obvious to the people running this franchise tells you most of what you need to know about why this story keeps happening. So the question for you, and I want a real answer in the comments, is this. If you had tickets to a Fever game in the next 2 weeks, are you still going? Are you eating the cost? Are you trying to sell them back? Or are you so far in the bag for Caitlin Clark that you are going to show up regardless of whether she plays, because maybe, just maybe, she will? Because the answer to that question, multiplied across thousands of fans, is exactly what the front office is counting on. They are betting that love for the player will absorb the disrespect from the franchise. They have been right about that bet so far. The only thing that ever changes their behavior is the day they stop being right. Tell me your take below. Hit the like button if you want more breakdowns like this. Subscribe for full coverage of every turn this Fever season takes, and there will be plenty. We will be back the minute the next status update drops, which based on the pace of this story should be sometime tomorrow morning. Until then.